I'll start with you. First, welcome to Louisville. But how's that transition been for you, making that move down here and getting used to the new confines, your new teammates, and things like that?
Yeah, it's been pretty easy for me, I'd say. I got here a little early in the summer phase, and I mean, within a couple days, I was felt pretty acclimated. And I give credit to these guys, the older guys. I feel like they took me in and treated me as if I've been here for 3 years already. So it was really easy, and I've had a lot of fun here so far.
Evan, what's the whole off season been like? We were talking with Isaac about just the difference between last year and the year before last, and that kind of thing. What's it been like in the off season for you guys, and kind of the drive to kind of recover from last year?
Yeah, we had a lot of guys this summer when the freshmen came in and all the new guys came in that we were told, we lifted with them, which was, the first time we've done that in all my years here. But just kind of, like he said, getting them acclimated, getting guys feeling like they're part of the team, and really teaching them what it's like to, get after it and not have the years that we've had in the past, and get back to the routine and the structure that we need that is going to give us success.
Since Coach Mack's been here, this program's had a ton of success. You usually start the season ranked, and you guys aren't in any of the preseason polls. Is that a motivator? Is it irrelevant? How aware are you that the preseason respect isn't there?
I think it's definitely a motivator, but Coach Mack, we have a saying, just don't look at the clowns, not calling them clowns or anything, but just the outside is going to say what they're going to say if we start the year off hot and we enter a ranking, and regardless of, what the outside is saying about us, we know what we're capable of. We know what we need to do in order to get back to that success that we've had in the past. So it probably is a motivator for some guys, but it's not something that we focus on.
Sebastian, Dylan said that during his recruiting process, something that he wanted out of his fifth year in college was the ability to compete for a national championship. Was that something that kind of played into your recruitment process when deciding on Louisville?
Yeah, I think the history that this program has competing for national championships, it was definitely very attractive. I feel like this program plays meaningful baseball year-round, and every series we play, the ACC is such a good conference, and I feel like every single ACC weekend, it's kind of that you kind of get that atmosphere a little bit. So not only that, but the chance to go to Omaha as well was very attractive to me, and I want to help these guys compete for a national championship, and I feel like I can do that. So that I would say that definitely played a part in my recruiting process.
Sebastian, you had so much success in your career at Wright State. As you prepare for this season, is there anything different? I mean, it's you faced a lot of some of the teams that you're going to probably face or could face here. Is there a whole lot of difference in what you were doing there than what you do here?
I wouldn't say a whole lot of difference. I think the kind of some of the stuff between the or outside the lines has kind of changed, but I mean, Wright State does a good job of playing those ranked teams at the beginning of the year, and so I feel very prepared going into the season to face ACC opponents. Starting off the year at Indiana State, faced those guys before, pitched against Kentucky last year, so I feel very prepared to do my part for this team against those teams. And I mean, going into the ACC tournament as well, I feel very prepared to help this team out.
You mentioned Indiana State for both of you. You got your opening weekend coming up. Thoughts on what's it like once the season starts to actually get here, and then thoughts on the opening weekend. I mean, you got a couple teams, some teams that you're going to face with some postseason aspirations of their own.
I think the competition down there in South Florida, this will be pretty much the same teams that we played 2 years ago when we went down there, and didn't have the success we wanted in that opening weekend. But they're all playoff caliber teams, and personally, I kind of want my revenge against UConn because I didn't have a great outing against them last time. But going down there, playing good competition to start the year, starting the year off, setting the tone for what that first half of the year is, and keeping that into the second half of the year starts with that good competition.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. Faced Indiana State last year in the regional. They unfortunately beat us, so kind of the same, looking for revenge. But it's a great start to the year. Those are all very good teams down there. So, but we're ready. I think all of our guys are ready. We're all hungry. We're all ready to go, especially after the year these guys had last year. I know we're ready to get started and ready to go kick some butt down there.
Evan, what's the depth on the pitching staff like compared to maybe what it was last year? At times there were some struggles, some throwing strike. I know Coach Mack said that's been a big thing. What's the depth like right now?
I think we got, even on the position player side, we've got a lot of depth this year with older guys that came back for their senior year. Some of us are fifth year, but a lot of depth just all around. But just pitching specific, we got a lot of young guys that are going to help us out this year. We got a lot of those sophomores that turn juniors that maybe haven't had the success that they've wanted up to this point, but are poised for some big year. And I think that this might be as much depth as we've had in my time here. Obviously, my freshman year with Reed and Bobby and having those guys and the depth that we had behind them. But just up and down the pitching staff, we got guys that are going to help out this year.
Evan, can you talk just a little bit about, the way you've been used throughout your career? Dan's put you in some, even he's admitted some pretty tough spots throughout your career. Just kind of knowing that you're a guy he can rely on and can kind of go to no matter what, and how that's kind of prepared you for this season and the possibility to even be a weekend starter this year, and how that's kind of, shaped yourself being ready now.
Yeah, as a freshman, I kind of got the usual freshman treatment of kind of getting eased into things, get a couple clean innings under your belt, and then thrown into the fire. You get, put in a jam and see what you can do with it. So that really helped just my overall, journey as a pitcher. But I think just being a reliever for 4 years and never really knowing what situation I'd be in and what, outing I would have, being able to bounce back from having a tough outing and you might be pitching the next day. So just being flexible with that, I've enjoyed throughout my career. But in terms of roles and being a starter this year possibly, I've always said it, pitching is pitching, whether you're getting the first 15 outs of the game, the last 3 outs of the game, or you're getting 1 out somewhere in the middle. The level of effort that you give and the preparation that you have for it stays the same. So pitching is pitching. Whatever role anyone is in on this team, I think that as older guys with the pitching staff, we've kind of driven that home that regardless of your role, embrace your role and just go out there and get outs.
Anybody else?
For both of you, specifically a couple guys, can just kind of talk about what Kaba brings to the staff, and then the development of Dan has talked a lot about Patrick, Evan, and Forbes and what he's done in the off season. How different is he, or how much is he going to help?
Speaking for Kaba, I mean he's obviously a really, really good pitcher, and he's got really, really good stuff as well. So whatever his role is come the season, I think he's going to help out. He has experience being a starter, obviously, when he was at Lewis. And he's got some experience here just in the fall and in our past couple scrimmages coming out of the pen. So I think he's ready, and he's definitely got the mentality to be a starter or a closer, just knowing him. So he's got electric stuff, and he's got real swing and miss stuff as well. So regardless of what his role is, I know he's going to help us out.
Yeah, to echo that too, he's just another one of those flexible, could be a pen guy, could be a starter, but whatever his role is, a lot of us older Ps that have gone through the past couple of years of not having success, we just want to win games and get back to that level of success. So regardless of, his role and what he brings to this team, he's going to help this team win games. And with Pat, he's put on a lot of good weight, and he's, kind of worked into that, possibly being a starter and fringe bullpen guy. And I feel like me and him are kind of in similar situations in terms of our role, where it's kind of unknown right now. But regardless of what happens, he's going to be a guy that, through his development from last year to this year, is going to help this team win on the mound and in the box.
Can you guys talk a little bit about what it's like just as a whole pitching staff, like when you guys are, together, like tinkering and trying to learn some other pitches? I've noticed, this spring some guys have added some serious spin rate and added some pitches to their repertoire. Can you talk a little bit about what that's like, where you guys kind of as a whole are kind of, just kind of teaching some people some different things and learning from others?
Yeah, I think we got some new technology kind of towards the end of the fall. We got a really cool slow-mo camera, which allows us to see all of our grips and stuff as it's coming out of our hands. So that's been really helpful through the winter and at the beginning of the spring. Me personally, I've developed a cutter as well, so that's just something that's really helped. And speaking for the younger guys, I know a lot of guys have come up to Webby, and some guys have come up to me too, just asking, how we hold our curveball, grip pressures on our changeup or fastball. So it's cool to see, those younger guys wanting to learn and get better as well. So, just talking with those younger guys, just teaching them, how we go about our business and go about our pitches as well. So, yeah.
I've also added a cutter. Me and him have kind of been bouncing our cutter grips back and forth to each other, seeing what works. But this freshman class, even just from the first day of the summer with the lifts we were doing, they've always been all of them have been very eager to learn and eager to, they're not afraid to ask the questions that, like, hey, how should I do this? How should I do that? And even when it came to the spring and when we came to pitching, just if a guy had a tough outing, some older guy, like I would do it. I know Red would do it. Corbett would do it. Older guys would be the first ones up to him, just talking about, like, hey, I know that's not what you wanted, but what are you going to do to learn from that outing? How are you going to grow from that outing and be a better pitcher from that outing? So just, I think having a lot of the older Ps that we have has been very helpful, just with developing these freshmen quicker. Then they're not, and Max says it all the time, they're not freshmen once that first game gets played. It doesn't matter your class or how long you've been here. The game is the game, and it doesn't care how old you are. If you are good enough to help the team win, you're going to play and you're going to help the team win. So having those older guys get developed quicker and be eager to learn from us older guys has been huge.
Yeah, and I like how he brought up a little bit of the mentality side, because it's pitching is more than just grips and what your pitches are. I think the thing with these younger guys is they don't, when they're in high school, they're obviously probably the guy wherever they're at, and once they get here, everybody's a guy, everybody's a dude, everybody knows how to pitch. So I think the difference between maybe me and Webby and one of those freshmen is the mentality side isn't quite there yet. So I think that's a big part of just kind of getting those freshmen acclimated to the atmospheres they're going to face, because baseball is tough mentally, and you got to be able to handle all that stuff. So teaching them that as well, I think, just further prepares them for what they're going to see this season.